So yeah, I'm Nicolas Kayser. I'm in charge of data journalism at OVNI, and I'm very humbled to be able to speak in the same panel as such prestigious outlets as FT, NYT, and Los Angeles Times, because we started data journalism in February this year. I was doing that alone in my room, and now we are 5 people full-time based in Paris. We call data journalism, as it's been said before, the mix of 3 skills: journalism, design, and computer science. I think that when you mix journalism with computer science, you can go into really deep data mining to extract the substance of databases, and that's a bit of what's being done with every blog. But as it's been mentioned before, it can really get bland sometimes if you limit yourself to that. If you mix design and development, you can go into interesting visualization. We've seen some examples this morning. Journalism and design can also lead you to visual journalism and to nice spreads, as we are used to seeing in newspapers, for instance. And if you mix all 3 skills together, you get data journalism and apps, as we've seen with NYT, Guardian, LA Times, and in France at OVNI. I'd like to first to go back a bit to the essence of journalism, so to say. This panel is called storytelling, and I think it's true that in a sense journalism is about telling stories. It's about making reality interesting so that you will get people to actually read what you're producing. So you can say that the stories you're telling are like a plot, and you can have characters which can be politicians, countries, in terms when you're talking geopolitics, or even the user, him or herself, when you're doing practical journalism. And I'm saying that because journalism is about telling stories, but so is World of Warcraft. And that's an analogy I like a lot, to compare journalism and video games. Because if you play World of Warcraft, I don't know how many of you here have played that, but you realize that in many instances, the stories you'll have to face in video games are as complex and as deep as the ones you'll read about in newspapers. In World of Warcraft, you have to accomplish missions in collaboration with other players, so you still have the plot, you have the characters, you have your story. What's the big difference between World of Warcraft and stories in newspapers? In my opinion, is that World of Warcraft is making tons of money. It's sexy, it's interesting, it's successful. And I'm saying that not because I'm saying that journalism has to become like World of Warcraft, but I'm saying that because if you think about video games, the video industry in the 80s, it was Prince of Persia. Today you have massive multiplayer games online, you have games on Facebook, on Twitter, you have mixed reality games, you have a whole lot of new innovative things, whereas if you compare journalism in the 80s and today, it's mostly about an article or pictures or video on a server. You could have it on your terminal anywhere in the world in the 80s as it is today. I think the video game industry has moved much faster than journalism, and since the 2 industries are comparable, our main task at OVNI is to make this, what made the video game industry so successful, which is code and design. Our mission is to make that a fixture of journalism every day. So that was it for the theory. Now I'm going to explain more about what we do at OVNI, and I'm going to take the same example as we all did this morning. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about war logs. The difference was that at OVNI we were not in the same situation as the Guardian and NYT, because we had the data on Sunday night, and we thought it'd be cool to do something for the next week. So we were like in a really breaking news situation. We knew that 3 outlets were ahead of us, so that we were not looking at scoops. We would not find like revolutionary information in there. So instead, we decided to be different from the Guardian and NYT, and to focus on non-US, non-UK troops, and especially to focus on civilians and the daily life in Afghanistan, to show what was the situation on the ground. We also decided to be collaborative, in the sense that we had no time. We didn't have 1 month to prepare. We had basically 1 day. So we thought there was no way we can skim through all the documents on our own. So we decided to be collaborative and to invite users in. So what we did first was to ask for help. As soon as we decided to go ahead with this story, we sent out messages on Twitter asking for web users to help us. The first thing was to understand the documents and to translate all the NATO jargon into French. So we had about 15 people who volunteered to help us on this Monday morning. And they helped us. We started with a list of acronyms that was published by WikiLeaks. We expanded it. It was 300 terms. We expanded it to 500, and they translated everything into French and added remarks. So we had that online. I mean, that was done on Monday afternoon. So 8 hours after we decided to go ahead with that. At the same time, we had to design and code the application. Something that's been addressed already is to have developers, journalists, and designers working together. The second thing, if you want to follow the news agenda, is to be agile. OVNI is part of a company called 22 March, which is internet service provider, a social media editor. We do social websites. So we have many other developers in the same company, so we can decide if there is the need for it, that everybody stops what they're doing and we all work on this project. That's what we did on the Monday. We had the documents that everybody was going to work on war logs for 1 day. So yeah, being agile is a main. It's something you have to be if you do data journalism following the news agenda. We did that for 1.5 days, so that on the Tuesday evening we had the application running with a crowdsourcing interface for users to search through the database and so that they could highlight the most interesting war logs. Another thing we do at OVNI is that we are a for-profit media that's actually making a profit. It's pretty rare in France. So we looked for co-producers to help us with the application. In this case, we used the contacts we had made on the Monday when we asked people to, when we asked for help. Some journalists came in, so we asked this journalist, okay, are you willing to co-produce the application with us? 2 of them accepted. That was Slate.fr and Le Monde Diplomatique. We had many, something like 5 potential partners in several European countries as well, even though the negotiations did not go through. So there was also 36, oops. Okay. Computer problem.
Nicolas, you've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, sorry?
2 minutes when it starts.
Oh, it's...
2 minutes.
Okay, so I'll wrap up.
When he starts.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we had to find these co-producers, which we did, and in the end, so my main point was that on Tuesday evening we were able to have this application running, and so it's too bad I cannot show it to you. But my point was that we made it. We had it on Tuesday, and I don't think it was a success because people did not use the crowdsourcing interface. We thought, like, given the media coverage there had been on this story, that people would want to see for themselves what the documents were, but they were not that interested in looking for it, in looking for information by themselves. As journalists, we're not into that as well. So what we did is to do a version 2 of the app that will make it simpler, that will we wanted to imitate what The Guardian had done for the MP expenses, so that people are given a story and they can rate it if it's interesting or not interesting. And we hope that with this version, with the most interesting stories popping up front, people will actually go read the logs that are not about this Task Force 373 or whatever, but who will read actually the real, the most interesting stories that actually tell the life of the daily life in Afghanistan. I'll see if the version 2 is online. And it's also, I was talking about being agile before. In this case of this version 2, we had this idea last Thursday, and we thought it would be cool to have it ready for this presentation in Amsterdam. And it should be online right now. Shit. Anyway, okay, not working. I'll
Show it after.
Yeah. I'll send the link.